So good afternoon, all of you.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So I think have you tested down what we have been talking about? Right. The things that I have said in the earlier class, like N1 is equal to if it is 1, 2, 3, and N2 is equal to 1, 2, 3. If we have tested down the N1 then we come to strings. S1 is equal to Kranti. Then ID of S1, ID of S2. Okay. Next, I had this one, N1 is equal to 1, 2, 3. N2 is equal to N1. And now if I find ID of N1, ID of N2. Right. So I think we have some difference in this. Here you see that when N1 is equal to 1, 2, 3 and N2 is equal to 1, 2, 3, it looks identical as of two strings, where S1 and S2 both are Kranti and Kranti. And when we are talking about the addresses they refer to, you can just simply observe that the address of S1 or the ID of S1 is equal to the ID of S2. So why this difference might be happening here? Why the ID of N1 is not equal to the ID of N2? And when coming to this, you see, it says that N1 is equal to 1, 2, 3 and N2 is equal to N1. And in this case, only the ID of N1 is equal to the ID of N2. So what could be the difference that you observe between the strings and the lists? When we talk about mutable and immutability, you will probably understand the deep concept into that. But initially, you guess a while, what could be the difference that you have observed between the strings and the lists?
So for lists, it's
So,
pointing out two different addresses, memory
Okay.
locations.
Okay.
so maybe
Uh,
in lists, the variable are also assigned some space.
okay. Right. Hmm. So variables are also arranged. Okay. Let me do some other magic for this. A is equal to 6, right? And I will say something like B also is equal to 6. And I will find ID of A. Okay, is it visible or shall I zoom a little bit? Is it visible now?
Yes.
Now ID of B, both are equal here. You see, observe that A is equal to 6, B is equal to 6. Of course, what is 6 data type? It is integer, right? And now, if I am referring A is equal to 6, B is equal to 6, of course, A is referring to 6 and B is also referring to 6. Why don't they are identical? They're just referring to the same memory location, and that is the reason why the ID of A and ID of B are equal. As of the string, like how we have seen the string here, S1 and S2 are both Kranti, and here you can find out the ID of S1 and ID of S2 are the same addresses. Let's see this one. Like after the string, we can also check like A is equal to 6.5, B is equal to 6.5, and let's find out the ID of A and then the ID of B. Sometimes it is differing here, but most probably the reason I need later on why this will happen in both strings and integers, and you need to consider some situation where you have to understand the concept of mutability and immutability. Right. We say we shall leave aside the concept of mutability and immutability aside. I'm just raising this doubt in your mind so that you will keep it as a reminder to understand the concept of mutability and immutability. So keep it in your mind like that. Now coming back to our particular lecture where we want to do the copy, let us go back to our compiler online. Okay. So coming back to our compiler, let us have this one. So now we going into the copy way. So I want to create a list L1 is equal to 2, 4, 6, 8, and L2 is equal to 5, 3, 2, 1. Right? Okay. I don't want to take L2 now. So what I will say L1. Now I will do something. L2 dot append of what I will say L2 dot append of S, maybe okay, 2, not 2, maybe I will say new element. I'm appending this new element inside it. Okay. Now if I print L1 and print L2, guess the answer for these.
So for L1 it will be 2468 new element, and for L2 it will be 2468.
Okay. But I am appending L2, right? I am saying L2 dot append is
Reverse.
of new element. Okay, so what is the print L1 that you will get as an answer?
L1 will remain same and L2 will change.
Yes.
New element will be added to L2.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If that is so, I want to ask you one question again. In this case, I'm doing the same thing, right? But why it is showing the same address? If L1 remains the same thing and L2 is only changing a little bit, but here in this case, they are referring to the same address. That is the same 1, 2, 3. So I need your answer here.
So you only said no, sir, yesterday. For in list, it will take the address of the first element only.
Address
After
of the first.
appending also, the first element will be one only, no, sir, in the list.
After appending also, the first will be 1.
Then both the lists will be referring to the same address.
Both the things will be referring to the same address in the sense that if I am referring to some address and I am appending something, will not that append affect to that list which is referred by that address? Have you understood my question?
So once can you repeat?
If N1 is referring to 1, 2, 3 as a list, and I am copying the reference address of N1 into N2, imagine that both are pointing to same 1, 2, 3, right? Until now, do you agree with me in this
Yes,
case?
sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, now if I said N2 dot append of a new value 4, okay, N2 dot append of 4. Now, if I want to append 4, I want to append at the last, okay, at the last after all the elements that are previously written. Now, N2 is referring to what? For example, our 1, 2, 3 as is at address 1101. Okay, our 1, 2, 3 as a list is at address 1101. N1 is referring to the address 1101. Okay. Now, when I said N2 is equal to N1, N2 is also referring to the address 1101. Right. Until now, you have already agreed. Now, if I said N2 dot append of 4, it is nothing but what is indirectly it mean?
It is appending
What
N1
does
as well.
Yes, because N1 is 110001 and N2 is also referring to 1101. If you say N2 dot append of 4, it is nothing but 1101 dot append of 4. Then which will be affected now?
Both of
Uh,
them.
Yes, both of them. If you can understand the memory, it will be both of them. So it is not like how you said that L1 will not be affected. Let us see here. When I visualize this execution, now you will check out how this actually does, and you just concentrate on the memory. Now I have created L1, and next you see L2 is also referring to the same address space. Same address space. If is in this case, now you check that when I said append, see L1 is pointing to a list in which a new element is added, and L2 is also pointing to a list in which the new element is added. Now, if I print both of them, what is that I get? See, for L1 also it is printing the same, L2 also it is printing the same. And this is the reason why it is showing that both the IDs of L1 and L2 are same. Of course, as I said yesterday, I still stick to the point that the first address or the reference address, which is referring to the first 0th index, is always the same. But this L1 and L2 are both referring to that address, which is common to this list. And of course, if this list has a single address that is representing the entire list, and if L1 and L2 are both pointing to that address, whatever changes that you make to that address will be reflected to both L1 and L2. Did you understand, or any doubt here?
Understood, sir.
Got it, sir.
Okay, right. Coming back, and now if there is a chance, like let us see, we have a different one. So 5, or maybe the same thing. We are writing it differently, but still we want to have it in a different list, and I want to append. Now let us see what will be the case here. I'm not copying the address of L1 to L2, but I am making it separately. So keeping aside the concept of strings, I will explain you why immutable and mutability, the difference between them. Here I say that the lists are always mutable, that is changeable, and the strings are always immutable, that cannot be changeable. And this is the reason why you see such difference here. If in the strings concept, if I say S1 is equal to Kranti and S2 is equal to Kranti, both are having the same ID, even though you separately mention. But regarding lists, if L1 is having a list and L2 is also having an identical list as L1, okay, still they both have different. See, have you seen that L1 is actually having a different address space and L2 is actually having a different address space. Now, whatever you affect in the L2 is never reflected in L1 because they are, of course, they look same, but they are different. They are like twins, that's all. Until now, you are talking about one body. Okay. So, for example, if my nickname is some Chinni in my house and my official name is Kranti. In the earlier example, Kranti and Chinni are both referring to my body, right? So both are me. So whatever says Chinni go and bring this one, Kranti also does the same, right? It affects to both Kranti and Chinni as reference variables. Coming back to this, we are identical here. Maybe if I have a twin who looks like me, so whatever that is done to me is never affected to the other person who is a twin of me. Okay. So this is the reason why we avoid that L1 is equal to L2 or L2 is equal to L1 if in case we want two separate lists and identical. అంటే రెండు ఒకలాగా ఉండాలి కానీ వేరువేరుగా ఉండాలి అని అనుకున్నప్పుడు మట్టుకే మనం ఇట్లాంటిది వాడుతూ ఉంటాం. Let us see here, if I affect, what will happen? See, if I say that L2 dot append new element, that only will be added into L2 and L1 will never be affected. You can see it in the memory and also how it is printed when I am printing both L1 and L2. And you might ask me, sir, why do you need the copy function and why are you telling all these concepts to us? Let us check out. If instead of writing like this L2, if I write like this, L1 dot copy, what I'm doing now, I'm simply saying I'm using a function called copy, and I'm saying that if L1 is already having a list, copy the entire thing into L2. In this case, I am not giving the address. See carefully. If this is eliminated, whatever the address hold by L1 is passed on to L2, where both are pointing to the same location. But when I use L1 dot copy like this, how I am showing now, L1 dot copy, it means that the entire elements of L1 are copied into the new address space pointed by L2. Remember once again, if I am using dot copy, it says that the entire elements of L1 are copied to the new address space of L2, okay, which is pointed by L2. And here in this case also, this will work properly. L1 will not be affected, but L2 will only be affected. Let us see. Now let us execute this one. So L1 will be 2468, and see L2 is being copied. So the memory works like the previous, previous program, right? Where you separately give 2468, and instead of 2468, see the line which I have underlined red. You can see now I'm writing L1 dot copy. This also works the same in the memory. You see, L1 is having different memory address space, and L2 is pointing to different memory address space. And the same thing happens. Some effect will be done only for L2, and the print will be done separately like this. You can see on the screen. And you might ask me, sir, why do we need copy? Why can't we write the whole list? Can anybody contradict this statement? If anybody has a doubt that, okay, well, why do we use this dot copy function? Why can't we write it separately like earlier program? Like 2468, I'm writing it again, right? So if I can write this one like this is also fine. Why do I need a copy? So I will write 2, 4, 6, 8. Can anybody defend the copy function?
There in cases when the list is quite large, then
Yes.
it would be like difficult.
No, not that ID. Whatever I think somebody said here is correct. He is saying that if the list is big, if for example I'm having 1 lakh elements in a list, how can I write the 1 lakh elements on my own? Simply I want another identical memory, so I will just say L1 dot copy. So all the 1 lakh elements will be copied. Okay. Okay, so you have defended this copy function. So this is how actually the list copy will be done. I hope you understand this. And I have another function called clear. You can simply say L1 dot clear. This is the last function of the list before we go to our list assignment. And you have L1 dot clear. So L1, just print L1. What will be the value? Let us see. Okay. So you have 2468 in L1, and simply you can use clear. So the entire memory has been cleared and only the empty list was given. So this is the last function that we see inside. So see, the empty list has been printed as only square brackets. So can you recap of all the functions that you have seen until now in the lists? Can anybody recap it? Somebody.
What all the functions? Sir?
Yeah, what are all the functions in the list that you have seen until now?
List dot index,
Yes.
list dot append,
Hmm?
list dot extend,
Yes.
list dot count,
Okay.
list dot insert,
Okay.
list dot remove,
Okay.
list dot copy,
Okay.
list dot pop,
Okay.
list dot sort,
Okay.
list dot clear,
Okay.
list dot reverse.
Reverse. Okay. Right. So I want to ask you one question. here in this case, if 2 comma 2 comma now print help dot index of 2, what will be the answer that will return in my print?
0.
0.
0. But I have another 2's also, right? Why can't I say this is 2 as an index? Maybe it might return 2.
So in the parameters, we'll give start and end. No, sir. From starting, it will check.
Yes, that's correct. So whenever you are searching for something, it will either search for this. Always the left side value is given more importance. So the first encounter of the left side will always be given importance, okay, before considering the second one. So whenever it sees a value for the first time, it just stops there, the iteration stops there and comes back and return the index where it has seen. So this is also a confusion sometimes people will face. So I'm showing this example. With this, we end the lists. And as today it's a lab, I will give you another half an hour or 40 minutes of time where I will generate an assignment for you. And you need to complete this assignment from the codecheck.io. Okay. Don't take it as a very tensed manner. You coolly do it. After this, we will go to sets and discuss about sets. Okay. Now coming back to this one, let us go to the codecheck.io. So, so officially I will clone the assignment and create an assignment for it. Okay, I will say it is today, and what's the time now? 2:33, right? I will give up to 3:10. Maybe you can try out with your own thing like PM and leave it. Okay, fine. So now I am saving it. So I am passing on the link to you all students because it's the link to be passed on to the student itself. So copy, and where is this? Okay, I need to go to chart. So I'm passing on the link to everybody. You can click the link and you can start writing the program. Copy my private link. Okay, you can start writing. If you all finish much more early also, you can raise your hand by 3 o'clock or something, so that if majority people have done it, I'll go to sets. So in between, I will just go for 1 or 2 minutes. I will bring my pad, which I did not get it now for teaching you on board. I'll get back from my staff room and you carry on with your assignment. Okay, I'm back again. Just to intimate you. So after you finish your, or before you finish your assignment, please, I am posting a form to you. You will fill up your complete roll number and your unique ID. So don't worry, from next time, I won't be giving this for the examinations. So we only practice this in the labs. So I'm passing on the form link to you. Just click on the link and fill up your unique ID. Completely you copy that and also fill your entire complete roll number. Don't miss any of the numbers in that.
Sir, done.
Yes, hello?
Yes, sir, completed.
Yeah, okay, fine. That's good. So those who have completed, please raise your hand a little bit so that I want to count the number of completions. I can proceed. Actually, once refresh all your pages, you will see extra problems that were added to it. try out whatever you can do. And one thing I want to just focus on what I am saying now. I want to just introduce a new function to you where it will be very helpful in solving one of the problems there. Yes, focus on what I am saying now onto the screen. Don't worry about the time, I can extend the time anyway. You see here, if for example I have the names is equal to in the list Kranti, Kiran, Mandava. So if this is the case, I can join all the strings in the list into one, string. See how I will join. So I can say my name is equal to, so I am referring to a variable. I'm now introducing a new function called join. I will separate all the names by a space. That is the reason I'm giving like this. I'm trying to introduce a new function. So dot join of names. So now let me print what this will mean. My underscore name. Let me execute this. Okay. So Kranti, Kiran, Mandava have been created. And you see here, this Kranti, Kiran, Mandava as separate elements have been joined together to form a string Kranti, Kiran, Mandava. You can see here. And it is put in my name. And the next thing is now I'm printing my name. Okay. This join function actually is used for that. And for example, if you want to join without spaces, simply you can do like this. It is nothing but actually it is a string function. When we come to string functions, I will introduce this join again. Anyway, before that, to solve one of the problems in the assignment, I am just giving it a hint. So wherever you want, you can use it. Now let us check without space. Only double quotes I am giving, without space in between the double quotes. You see what will happen? You can experiment on this. Yes, what you have seen here, without spaces, the entire elements have been concatenated with each other. So join actually does a concatenation of all the elements into one string. So not only the names, it can also be some numbers also. So for example, I can say 1, let us try to make it. So now what I will do is I will just execute this program. So it says that it is expecting a string, but all the name lists are integers. So if I go there and just I will put it something like strings, each one. Now let us check out what will happen. Close it. Now, so all those 1 to 3 are joined as 1 to 3 as a single string. So basically this is used for that. For example, if you want these, if for example, these things are date, for example, what is today's date? 12, right? And 2, this is 21. And I want to join with a particular hyphen or a slash or something. I will just join like that. So when you are concatenating in between all the elements, there will be something that appears like this. Let us check out. Okay, next. And you can see here, all the elements have been joined with something hyphen. So you can just experiment with this, and in our particular assignment, one of the application will be like this. So find out where you want to use it. And if you have any doubt, if you want me to explain that particular problem, you ask me. Your time is also extended. You can do this now. So I thought of, before going to sets, let me conclude the lists on your behalf so that you will get some training on the lists, practical applications, and then you can go for sets. I'm extending up to 330, no problem. Do it in a cool manner. See that you got all the 10 problems on your screen. Did anybody finished 5 problems by now, at least? Can you raise your hand
Yes,
if
sir.
you have finished 5 problems?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, for the fourth question,
Hmm.
I reversed the list, and when I appended the list,
Hmm.
actually what's happening is the whole list is getting appended into another list, and it's becoming a double list, sir.
Okay, so what he says, add the elements from the original value list to the new values in reverse order. Okay, write a for loop. You go back to the last element, and from last element you insert into the first elements of new values. Did you understand? Don't reverse the list in the original values. Or you can use this copy and all. Can't you copy something that is reversed?
Sir, I'm having a doubt in sixth question. Sir,
Person. Yes.
sir, what is that fifth step, sir? I mean, fifth line means.
Fifth line says that the score is equal to 0.4 percentage 5.2 F. So total score you need to print there. That's all. It's just a message and the percentage total score you need to print.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So 5.2 F, I will tell you this is like a format. Okay. So it is telling like, you need to have the precision values after some distance. So just try it out. You just print the total score. You just get the total score and check what is showing it.
So, in the eighth question, is there some rule that we should use while loop only?
What it says. Complete the following program that removes all negative numbers from a list of values. Yes, you can use for loop or while loop, but most probably while loop is better, I hope.
So, because when I used for loop, it is giving me an error.
Okay, right. So what could be the logic people you think that how you remove that -5 or -48, -30?
So, I thought I will read all the elements, and if they're less than 0, then I will remove them.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. But here you observe that it will give a error for loop because have you found out why it is giving an error in the for loop? While you are writing the for loop, you need to remember that you will start at 0th index and you will end at the last one, right? What is the index that you get the last? So you find out the length of values, right? For I in range 0 comma length of values. So what is length of values? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So 10. So your last index is 9. So it will be from 0 to 9. Remember, when you are removing -5, be careful here. When you are removing -5, your length is decreasing and your last index is also decreasing. And by the time it sees that after deleting, it sees that, so how many values will be deleted? This and this. Total 3 values will be deleted. So 9 minus 3, 6. So by the time you are deleting all the negative values, your last index will be 6. But still our eye is going to another 3, 7, 8, 9. So it says the list is out of index. Is that the error that you are getting, Chaurit?
No, sir, my error reads as use while loop.
Okay, that is different. And it might be saying like that. In this, you are getting an error, I think, but it will be saying the list is out of index. Okay, so in this case, if a list is being deleted, instead of using for loop, go for while loop and be careful while you are deleting it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So look into this, Saurit, what error it has shown to me. The list index out of range. The reason, you see, by the time I comes to 8, actually there is no 8 actually. See how it is going on. I will click on previous one, and this is the reason why it doesn't want you to use a for loop. So I have written this program. These the lines from 23 to 27 you can check out. So initially, if I is 0, that's fine. So it will go on beyond. Next I is 1. You can also check the memory also. Okay. So you can check the memory only. That will be fine. Next, it will also be fine. If I is 2, that means the index 2, because it's -5, the element is -5, I have written a statement that if it is less than 0, remove it. So removed it. Okay, -5 has been removed. Now I goes to 3, that means we are skipping already 30. We are directly going to the index 3, right? So, and we are coming to 100. No, it is not negative. Next we are going to 4. It is also not negative. Next we are going to the index 5 and we are deleting it, right? So simply delete it. Now you are directly going to index 6, 14. After that, you are going to index 7 and you see that it is -30, right? So you delete it. And still the I goes on increasing. You see, next, if I click it, because I have said from 0 to length of values, initially the length of values is 10. After deleting, now you are getting the length of values as 7, but it doesn't care about that. We have fixed it in the for loop. You see, length of values initially it is 10, so 0 comma 10 means it needs to go from 0 to 9. So this is the reason. Now you see, after I gets to 8, it looks like 8 is not there in your list, but you are telling that you need to go forward. Now it gives an error, the list index is out of range. Saurit, I think you understood
Yes, sir, got it.
why it asked.
Yes, I got it. But what I was doing is I made one more list and I was storing the index number of the values which are negative. And at the last, after completing the entire loop, what I did was I gave the pop statement.
Yeah, that's also fine. That's also fine. So you can use different. So I am showing to all the people that this is the difficulty that you face while you use this. So you apply something else. You create another list, like what he said. Send out all the positive numbers into that list, and finally replace that list with values list, so that all the negative numbers will be gone, and the new list of values will be all positive numbers. And this is how you need to do that. Okay. So think about your own logics and finish up the program.
Yes.
So if you people expect me to extend the time, I can extend for you.
Sir, till which time did you give?
3:30 until now. Should I extend the time or leave it like that?
Sir, of
Extend it.
course, sir, please.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Shall I give it up to 3:45? Okay, maybe 3:50. I will be back right now in the meanwhile. So those who have raised their hands, is it indicating that you have already finished?
No, sir, on the last question.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, in the last question, for the last test case,
Hmm.
it is printing comma after 18 and it should print. How can I like stop that?
Yes.
Prevent it from printing comma.
Yes, it's printing.
What it says, modify the algorithm in section 6.3.3 and the code below so that it prints all positive values in the list separated by commas. Complete the following file. Okay. So what it says, it wants to print it in all commas.
So like if values square bracket I is greater than 0, then print that thing, but that comma is also being printing after the particular elements.
Okay, instead of print, it also expecting the values, right? I is greater than 0. Is there any restriction that he has given for this particular
No, sir. No, sir.
range of values greater than 0? And okay, so is print. Oh, okay. Can you share the screen on how the output he is showing? I will stop sharing
Yes,
it.
sir. Sir, you have disabled.
I will enable it. Wait. Okay, I enabled it.
Sir, is it visible?
Alert from
Yeah.
your disk is almost full.
Okay, right. Expected 18. So what exactly it does mean? Print positives he is saying. So in this case, all are this one. So For the above ones, you are unable to print that comma, right? Anyway, it is correctly going on. 1, 3, 4.
Yes, sir.
Okay, they are all the last elements, so no problem.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, the better thing is, if possible, you try to make it them like using join. Can you do that? Bring out all the positive numbers from a particular list to the other list. Okay. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
And you directly
Thank you,
print
sir.
string. Let us see if the string is not working. Then again, we will think about another logic.
Yes.
Hmm.
So actually, the elements in the list are integer type,
Yes, yes.
and I guess this join function is for strings only, so it is giving an error.
That's what. So we need to think about another logic. In the meanwhile, you think about that. I am trying to do this one. Okay. So I'm doing this one. Just wait
Yes,
for a
sir.
few minutes. In the meanwhile, you also try.
Sir, can't we convert integers into strings, sir?
Integers into strings, you can do it.
Like str of that particular.
Ah, yes, str of that. You can typecast it as we have discussed earlier.
So in order to typecast it, we need to use that technique of creating a new list and transferring the elements which are positive into that list,
Yes, yes.
and then typecast each of the elements.
Yes. I hope. 1 second. Okay, so I will share the screen now, which I have done. So what I did is I took a new list, and after that I am passing on all the positive numbers only into the new list, which is empty actually. Okay, and after getting the new one, what I am doing is up to the last indexed number. Up to the last indexed number, I am printing with comma space. So if the last indexed number is over, up to the last but one index, sorry, last indexed number is over. For example, in this case, what I am taking is I am printing 1 comma space. Okay, next 3 comma space, and because it is the last indexed number 4, I am skipping this print comma space and I am getting down from that for loop. Okay, and from that for loop I am just directly printing the last value where I is now. Okay, because I is iterating, right? I will be initially 0, I will be 1 in this case. So up to 1 I am printing, and because the last index is 2, I'm just skipping the for loop and I'm coming out. Because I is equal to 2, I'm simply printing new of I. So in this case my things are accepted, you see. I hope my logic is understandable. Have you understood this?
So can you please explain that eighth line, sir?
Eighth line. So eighth line, what I am doing is, for example, take this as a list. When I have moved my particular, so for example, I will say I am only printing all the positive numbers. Okay. Now
Hmm.
I will do it once again for you so that you will see what is there in new. Okay, what is there in new? 1, 3, 4, all the positive numbers from this particular list. 1, minus 2, 3, 4. Okay, minus 2 is eliminated, and in this list I am keeping only 1, 3, 4. Now what it is expecting, it is not expecting the list of new to be printed, it is expecting like this. So even Saurit said that even the strings are not workable. So what I did is that I took a for loop. See what I am doing? I am going through this list, which is the new list, which is only containing the positive numbers. Now what I am doing? I am checking the index. Index up to where I am telling that if index I is not equal to length of new minus 1. What is length of new?
3 minus 1.
Yes, 3. Length of new is 3. And what I have done? Minus 1. So 3 minus 1 in the sense that it is up to 2. So if I am saying that if I is not equal to 2, which is the last element index, then every time you print this one. So if, for example, if you are coming here, I is equal to 0. So I is not equal to 2, right? You just print the new of I, that means new of 0 with a comma and a space like this, right? I have printed like this. So new of 0 is 1. So 1 tarvata, one, immediately we get it with comma and a space. That was printed. Again the for loop repeats. This time I will be 1. I will be 1. So again it checks whether I is not equal to 2 or not. No, it is not equal. So it enters inside and says the new of 1 is nothing but 3, and also it prints comma space. Okay, until this it is done. Until this it is done. Again the I will be iterated. This time the I will become 2. And now we checked the condition that yes, I is already 2. I is already 2, right? So it is not satisfying, it is false. So we do not go to this line. We do not go to this line. Simply we skip and go to this one. And anyway, we have said that it is only up to 3. So there is no increment or something. Now the I still lies in this particular one. So at last I am printing this. Now, have you understood it?
Yes, sir.
Without any comma, I have printed this. Now, to make you understand what is happening in the memory, I copy this one and I will go to this particular. Okay, I'll just remove all these things. Okay, now you look into that, what will happen. Have I pasted it? No, I think, right?
Sir, can you extend the time till 4 o'clock?
You want up to
Yes,
4?
sir.
The last question is pending, sir.
Okay. This is the last question, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The last test case we need to change.
04 00. Okay. Save. It again came back. Okay. You see, I have just copied this one. So let us see what will happen in the memory to the people who didn't understand. So initially I have created the values 1, minus, minus 2, 3, 4, right? And next, empty list has been created. And now you see all the positive numbers are only included in 1, 3, 4 in my new. And after that, I'm coming back printing the new. Next, you see, now check out these things. I is 0 or not, and whether it is satisfying the condition or not. Okay, right. You see, after this, I is turned as 1. It will be better. Okay. See, I is turned as 1. So 1 is not like that. So immediately we go there and see that on the top, you can also see in the screen. So now it is printing 3 comma space. Now this time I will be 2, right? I will be 2 and 2 is not equal to 2 is false. 2 is equal to 2. So we don't go inside this 10th line. We simply go back again and see that it is the end of the for loop, come down. And by this time, what is the value that is remaining in I? 2. So in this case, in the 11th line, I am printing new of I. So replace I with the latest value 2. So new of 2. What is new of 2? The last value, that is 4, because it is in the second index. So simply you print it like that. Finish. There is no comma, there is no space, that's all. So every time when you want to test it in the memory, please come here and do that in the Python visualizer so you can visualize what mistake you have done. I hope you people have understood what my logic is.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
so for the eighth question, I tried using for loop, sir, but it was showing me error.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? Initially, in the previous session, I have shown you that one. Have you remembered that? Using for loop, I just explained. Yeah, this is where you can see. This is the loop where you get the error. See? Now, okay, I will cancel these things. I'll just remove these things and I will show you. Carefully observe what is happening in the memory also. So first initially you have created like this, right? See, in the for loop, you might have used it like this, the 0 and the length of values. So here, what is the length of values you write, you fix here?
11.
Naturally, it will be, let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 only. The
Oh,
length
yeah.
of values is 10. So the index will start from 0 up to 10, that means 0 to 9. So it is fixed already. It can never change. The length of values that is mentioned here is already fixed. Even though your length of values changes also, this will only remain with 9 only. You see what will happen now? You clearly observe the memory and that. See that I is equal to 0 and it goes to values of 0, 17, it's not a negative number. Now you see that it has come to I is equal to 2. So values of 2 is minus 5, so it will immediately remove it. Okay, in the 7th line it will remove. See now count the length of values in the memory.
9.
It is 9. Okay, it is from 0 to 8. But still what is that is fixed here?
10.
10. But in the memory already it is reduced to 9 because we have removed one element. Now come back again. Again we are removing minus 48. You see. Yes, now count the length of the values here.
8.
8, but still here it is showing only 9. Sorry, 10. Length of values is 10 because previously we have fixed. It only sees whatever that is fixed. It doesn't understand and update the memory or what is the length of the recent values. Okay, it only is fixed with 10. Now you see, after this, now the next thing that we remove is minus 30. Okay, minus 30 is removed. That means the total length of values is only 7. Now what is this? It is going to, what is the I value? Can you tell me in the memory?
7.
7. Is there any index with 7 there?
No, so out of range.
No. So naturally it will come here and say out of range. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
And that is where you are getting the error with the for loop. So better go with while loop. And that is the reason I think he is indicating that while loop should be used.
Sir, I used while loop. It's showing me type errors, sir.
Maybe that you can share the screen once. I'm stopping it. You can share the screen once. Okay.
Alert from your disk is almost full.
Append int of values. Why do you use int of values? Already they are integers, right?
So it was showing me errors, so I thought that
No. Int of values is also you are appending the whole list of values. Values in the sense, what is values? Values is a collection of all those elements. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to append all of them into new. You know how they will be appended? They will be appended as a sublist.
yeah, list in a list.
List in a list. So that's not correct, right? What is the question actually? Move up. It says that complete the following program that removes all the negative integers from the list. You just do that. That's all. What you do is simply you take all the positive numbers and put them into new. Okay. Only you put them into new. If a number is positive number, then only append that particular value or an element in the values into new using a for loop or while loop. Using for loop, that's also very better. And when your new is with all positive numbers, the next thing that you will do is you just simply clear. I think I have introduced to you the clear function, right? You can use values dot clear, and next thing that you can use is values is equal to new. Did you understand? So yeah.
Yes, sir. Copy. Yes, copy
Yeah,
function.
copy you can use, or values is equal to new you can use, so that values memory is cleared now, and values is now referring to the new one, which are all positive numbers. Now you can just print values, it will print it.
Okay, sir.
So use all.
Sir, I have written a new list, but still it is working.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just to make it easy, I have told her to use a new list. Yeah.
Okay.
So keep all the functions in your pocket, use wherever possible, so that that is the reason why I have explained each one clearly. Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So how many of you have finished? You can raise your hand at most.
It's 4 o'clock.
I think the time is also already up. I hope most of you should be submitting it. So can I download the submissions now?
So I'm getting like submitting, it's not getting submitted.
No, if you submit each individual assignment, that's fine. There is no need for you to give any submit button. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So please submit it wherever you are. And you can also practice it until you get that problem. There is no need to worry, but I only download the reports up to 4 o'clock. Okay.
So will you give any
Sir,
marks to
will you
this?
also?
Yeah, this will be considered as your lab performance. That's all. It is not like an exam. So lab performance internal marks will be there, right? For our proof, we need to keep all your recordings. Okay.
Sir, will you please share yesterday's lab class recordings?
Yes, I will do it. I will do that. And also, please copy all your programs you have typed now, not the interactive ones, but all the programs just you have typed. You just copy and paste it somewhere else. Like yesterday I said, right? In the labs you will be, and so paste it in a folder and keep them ready. Yes, Paul, I will give you not only Paul, I can also extend for the people who want it to be more
Yes, sir,
time.
I want for 5 minutes. Means I'm getting like submitting. Just
Okay,
5 minutes, sir.
so yeah, I will extend up to 4:30. In the meanwhile, you keep on doing that. I'll download the reports later. So I just extended it. Still, I think another 10 people should come. Okay, then you go on doing it. I will download the reports later. Thank you very much. Bye bye, everybody.